Islam. So I tried to be on a live the other night, and it didn't quite work out. But what the brother was speaking about was how people in these days and times, they'll make books or they'll make literature speaking of Noble Drew Ali, but they'll identify him as African American, or the Moorish Science Temple was a black group when they put out information specifically saying that they was not Negro, black, or colored, or African American. So what came to mind when the brothers was talking about that is this pamphlet that came out in 1923 from the Ahmadiyya movement, and it says that they was located on Wabash Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, and that's the same area where Noble Drew Ali was at the time. So while Noble Drew Ali was putting out his literature and bringing his brothers in, he was letting them know that they was not Negroes, and he was also teaching them that they was already home. However, at the same time, this pamphlet was coming out where the Ahmadiyya was attempting to bring Moors into their movement, but still identifying them as Negroes. So this is the true salvation of the American Negro, the real solution of the Negro question. My dear American Negro, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you and the mercy of Allah. The Christian profiteers brought you out of your native lands of Africa, and in Christianizing you, made you forget the religion and language of your forefather, which were Islam and Arabic. You have experienced Christianity for so many years, and it has proved to be no good. It is a failure. Christianity cannot bring real brotherhood to the nations, so now leave it alone and join Islam, the real faith of universal brotherhood. We have opened a school of Islam and the Arabic language. Join Islam in the Ahmadiyya movement founded by Ahmad of India, the prophet of the day, and be blessed. For further information, address all letters to Ahmadiyya movement. So, say there was a Moor walking down the street and they don't know who they are. They're identifying themselves as Negro. And say they hit this Ahmadiyya movement and decided to walk in before they went to walk into the Moorish Science Temple, or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. If the brother walks into this building, they was going to be taught that they was still Negroes, and they was going to be taught that they was brought out of their native lands of Africa, as if they was in a foreign land now. So they wouldn't have been taught that they was home, and they wouldn't have been taught of their nationality. Again, how would Noble Drew Ali feel about this? Was this brought was they putting this out in the pamphlet because they didn't have the superior knowledge? Or did they put this out to counter what Noble Drew Ali was doing? Like, which is it? It has to be one or the other. They didn't have the information, or they was trying to counter. Because in this pamphlet also it says, we had a good month this month. We converted 60 Negroes into Islam, which means that those Moors joined the Ahmadiyya movement but never found out the nationality, their titles of El Bey, Day, Ali. Also, something I want to hit on here on page 30, which I think is pretty potent. It says, it's up in the upper right corner. In his time, Islam spread over Cyprus, Crete, Malta, and Rhodes. Caliph Ottoman was succeeded by Ali, the cousin and son-in-law of Master Prophet Muhammad, and reigned till the year 660. Again, in his time, Islam spread over Cyprus, Crete, Malta, and Rhodes. Caliph Ottoman was succeeded by Ali, the cousin and son-in-law of the Master Prophet. Then I like how they have the history of Islam on the left side. Islam means resigning oneself to God. One who takes up Islam is called a Moslem. The sun, moon, and all stars in the heavens and beings of nature on the earth, birds and beasts, are Muslims because they trust in God and remain under His will and commandments. But man has been given a free will, and its good use makes him a Muslim. Thus, Islam is the oldest and the only religion. Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Zoroaster, Krishna, all were Muslims, and all of their true companions and followers were Muslims. So how you think Noble Drew Ali felt? He's putting in all this work and activity trying to wake his brothers and sisters up to who they are. Meanwhile, somebody who's coming under the same flag as far as Islam is telling their brothers, his own brothers and sisters, that they are Negroes and that they're not in their native land. I wonder how he dealt with that when he engaged with the Ahmadiyya movement. Either they found out he had the superior knowledge and bowed down and started doing whatever Noble Drew Ali said, or they was trying to counter it. I don't know, brothers and sisters. You decide. But this came to mind when brother Cujo and brother Yusef was speaking, how they brought up the book where they was still labeling Noble Drew Ali and his followers as African Americans when they made it very distinct that they was not Negro, black, or colored. So this is what came to my mind. I couldn't say nothing on the live. It kept cutting out. I don't know if it was because of my location or what was going on. But I really wanted to bring this up on that live because it would have been parallel, because this is the same exact stuff that happens. But that's why Noble Drew Ali said it is important to put out papers of our own so that they can have the truth. It can't be diluted and it can't be dissected and made into another way that it was meant. That's why they put out their own papers. Because like people say, Noble Drew Ali never went to Cuba. But when you look in Noble Drew Ali's newspapers, it lets you know the date and when he did go. They can't get around that. Now, if they never put that in the paper, it'd be kind of hard to find the proof. But it's in their own newspaper when he went. So that's exactly why Noble Drew Ali said it was so important to put out papers of your own, so stuff like this can't happen. Islam.